Hey there, what's up, everybody? Carpo here. Let's talk about emotions for a minute. Well, I'm going to talk about emotions. You can either listen or you can just turn the shit off, right? I uh, I was noticing the other day. I have two kids. One's 3 and one's 6, and then I have a 21-year-old who is, of course, mature and way beyond them, and he helps us out with the kids, trying to help his little brothers. And having three boys is, it's an interesting life. I find that the 3-year-old is, of course, stubborn because the 6-year-old is, let's say, let's just say they're kids, okay? It's irrelevant. Kids just do what kids do. Brothers. And I had a brother that was 3 years younger, too. And one thing, of course, you notice when you have kids is how their emotions and their mood swings. 1 minute they'll be really happy, the next minute they're freaking out and screaming. And how we laugh about that as adults, say, oh, kids, they just can't control themselves, control their emotions. And then I started thinking about how is it really that much different as adults? Do we do we really learn to control it, or do we learn how to mask it better? Throughout the day, I have different emotions. Sometimes I'm feeling really upbeat, sometimes I'm feeling pretty low, but generally I don't feel like super angry or super happy, but there are times when I do. And there are times when I guess I could run around going, woohoo, and sometimes I do, just for fun, and there's times when I'll just go, because I'm frustrated and I hurt myself or something. And that's a different story altogether. But sometimes kids, I guess what it is they just never learn how to get their emotions under control, is what it is. And eventually you do when you become an adult, but the emotions never go away. You still have the emotion. It's just that, because some of the reactions we just can't stop. But we can learn to control how we behave and react to it. And that's something that I've worked on personally in my life, especially like anger. I've never been an angry person with anger issues. But everybody knows what it's like to wake up in the morning, spill your coffee, stub your toe, and say, oh, it's going to be one of those days. Just set yourself up. It's a bad thing to do, and I knew that. So I quit doing that. And when something bad happens to me now, I laugh and say, it's only going to get better. And it really alters perspective on everything. And perception is 9/10 of everything we do. And I always compare the extremes. Say a person who is a prisoner of war for 30 years. And, they're like, how did you survive? And I'm like, I just made the best of it. Just do what you can. Talk to invisible people or count rice on the floor, whatever. You do what you can to get by. Then you find out that the rich person who's had everything could be just as miserable, or I should say, much more miserable, whereas they have everything, but they are looking at life as a horrible thing. It's not so easy. It's not so easy to say that this is what works for people and this is what doesn't, but emotions are something that we feel as society, we should keep them under control because there's something that hold us back from being mature, okay? We want to be grown-ups. And you quickly realize after you become 18 that being a grown-up's really irrelevant at that age, and then you become 21 and you realize it's still irrelevant. And then you become 25 when your insurance rates finally go down for your car, and all of a sudden you realize you're just somebody else, just another human, just doing your thing. It's just you're never mature. You're just learn how to control your emotions a little bit better and try to fit in this world. So maturity really is a matter of perspective. But one person may say, can you say a person who, works 80 hours a week and brings home tens of thousands of dollars for his family is mature? Or what about the person who doesn't work but he's always there for his kids or always there for his family? Is he mature? What is maturity? Is it defined as how hard you work or how responsible you are? What is responsibility? Making money? Taking care of your family? And I'm not saying that it's one or the other. For me, it's family. But for some, money, they believe, will buy that happiness. And they still haven't found out that you can always make money later. But you can never get time back. It reminds me of one time when I took some LSD and I texted my buddy and I asked him, how strong is it? I was like, because I was thinking about taking more, and he says, just remember, you can add, but you can't take away. It just came to mind. So true. Once you've done something, you can't go back on it, you know? So, when you're a father or a mother and your kids have grown up, you can't go back and change what you could have done, how much time you could have spent with them, whether you should have taken the red or blue pill. It doesn't matter. There you are, you know? And I think for each person, they have their own drive, their own desire, figure out what works for them, what makes them happy, what makes them tick. And it's nobody's place to tell each other how to live. I've spoken with so many people about the idea of this utopia. You know, a utopian society that can't exist. It's a figment of our imaginations trying to place our views and our values upon society by thinking that other people should be happy because we're happy about a particular thing, or, you know, never sharing the same emotion at the same time. When you're married, you know what I mean. Your wife might be really happy one time and you're in a kind of a bummed out mood, and then the next time you're in a great mood and you think, oh, why isn't she in a good mood? It just comes and goes. It's just like you work on different schedules, and life is always different schedules, but we match up sometimes, and that's when good things happen. That's when people come together, and that's when we can share the great emotions, like love, but not the love of universal utopia. You know, I was talking with my mom earlier about this too, and we were saying how, I can't remember what it was, but somebody talking about vibrating at a higher frequency in humanity. If humanity would all just hold hands and love at the same time, the intention could change the whole world. And it's kind of like the old 100th monkey effect. You know, I don't know, maybe it's possible, but it's one of those things like saying, you know, what if grass was blue? You know, what if humans were something else? We're not. And nobody's ever going to all hold hands. But all that aside, what if everybody did, and it really did change the world? The question is this: do you think it through to say, what would that world be like? And who determines what that world's like? Who determines what the future would be like if it was utopia? You know, is it where everyone has everything they need and nobody has to do anything or lift a finger? If so, then who brings them the food? Who works? Is utopia happy for everyone? Can we still live, even if we just say living off the land? I mean, that's kind of a ludicrous thought at this point, and we know that that's not something that can happen. Sure, if an asteroid comes and wipes out all of humanity except a few, maybe we'll start back over living off the land, but at this point cities will be inhabited, and the future will go on. Civilized, as we might call it. I'm sure that small disasters will ensue. Perhaps a major solar storm will take out the grid or part of it, or maybe we will have some sort of an impact or a cosmic event. Maybe there will be some space wave of energy, the cosmic wave theory. I made a video about it a few years back. It was like my Karpo's cosmic wave theory or something, and I was trying to explain how the word of God, as spoken in the Bible, may be vibrations emanating from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and I had all these ideas about it. Just a possibility, you know, an idea. But you know, looking back on it, I think it's noble to make theories, but to really put them into perspective, they're just theories and they're just ideas. You know. Well, I'm not sure what else to say. Life is grand if you make it grand. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't try to grow up too fast. Don't try to pretend that you're mature if you're not. And since none of us are really mature, then don't pretend you're mature. At all. Anybody. It's best to just kind of go with the flow and realize that maturities vary according to a person's needs and wants. just like religions vary according to a region's needs and wants. And just like political views also vary between regions, but it's not people's needs and wants that are political opinions. It's people's hearts and minds that are won over by foolish politicians fooling foolish people into believing that their cause is just. However, I digress, and I should not step into politics, for I may make accusations about the current state of affairs in the United States. So, I part ways, and I wish you all farewell, and have a wonderful day.